So it being 6 o'clock, I'm going to call the September 6th meeting of the Conservation Commission to order.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen. Acceptance of meetings of the August 16th meeting. Does anyone have any comments?
To the
Oh, you're on
TV
Zoom,
thing.
TV, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, we're recording on Zoom that will be broadcasted live. I don't think we actually legally have to say that, sorry.
Not anymore?
I don't think we have to.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. But yes, this meeting is being recorded for future publication. And now, live. So accepting of meeting minutes of August 16th.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, roll call.
Double aye.
Langer and I.
Clock eye.
Chancellor abstain.
Dan's aye. All right. So first up, we have a submission for an RDA for Ridge Road. Julian, are you here for that? Just
Can you put the agenda up?
no. I have to join Zoom, I guess.
Bring a plank, 'cause usually it's
That's
up on
okay.
It's usually up on the board.
Let me try. I think I have to go to Zoom. Let me in, let me in.
Did you take your ethics class?
No, I got it up on my screen.
right.
I haven't finished it.
I did the paper, so
Huh?
I did it the other day.
You just want the plan, Julian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good, like, set up the sidewalk.
Can you allow screen sharing, please, in the back?
You can, hey, Joe,
Or make me a co-host?
you can choose. You can choose.
Thank you!
Choose until you get it right.
Okay.
Okay. Piece of property off of Ridge Road, across from Wachusett Road. It's about 75 acres, and basically, this is the frontage here. There's a wetland out in here. So we just want to get this whole area okay. As far as what's going back here, we're not worried about that right now, so we'll just focus on the front half. So we can set up a sidewalk to go take a look at it. It's relatively easy walking. It's not a,
Well, a lot of that's the cornfield, right?
the front is all cornfield,
Right.
and the rest of it was recently cut, but it's pretty easy. It's not bad to walk through. They actually didn't cut much in that area because it was a wetland, so.
Availability of people who want to go out in the next 2 weeks.
When?
Yeah, go.
Anyone free Saturday, 10th?
I can't go out this Saturday. Could we do it next Saturday?
Next Saturday, 17th?
That'd be better.
Okay. Where do you want to meet?
I would
up-
say right at the
there?
intersection, right there.
Okay.
Would be perfect.
What time?
10? Or normal? Does that work?
I can't make the 17th. Sorry.
Is that okay? With you?
That's okay with me.
Are you going to live?
I think I'll be alright.
Okay.
Talk about that intersection, what you said?
Yeah.
So the 17th?
Yep.
Yep.
10.
At 10. All right. Hold on, everything got tiny. So the next one is a hearing for an RDA for Millbrook Road. Is there anyone here for that one?
That's those two.
Yep. Me too.
All right.
That one we did do a sidewalk.
Hold on.
Which one?
The one on Millbrook down by Devereaux. Right here. Jimmy's.
I already did that.
Poison ivy.
Yeah, you're talking about it now.
Now we're,
Oh, I thought I heard you say we were gonna do a
no,
sidewalk.
we did
No.
the sidewalk on that one.
I'm serious, I thought we already did that.
Oh my God. I promise. It's coming soon.
Yeah, there was no surprises over there.
Okay.
Peter and I walked that with Julian.
Does
No
anyone-
surprises, plenty accurate.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Did anyone else go out to see it? It's fairly easy getting in there. It was nice. Nothing? Is
Nope.
anyone from the, it's not a public hearing, but anyone from the public who wants to comment? Seeing none. So we're looking for a negative determination that the boundaries are accurate.
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor and roll call?
Telephone, aye.
Langer, aye. Clock eye.
Gentleman, aye.
Dan's a aye.
So do you know what number that is?
Thank you. Do you have a number?
What,
I
for
was
the
hoping you
road?
didn't get that yet.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I
she's
meant
been
a
sick.
reason.
She
Oh,
hasn't been in
The
a
negative
while.
determination.
Oh.
I don't think it's number 3, is it?
No, I think it might be 2. I'll look at it.
Sorry, I didn't do that.
She had a knee replacement or something. She hasn't been in a while.
All right, so in the meantime, we'll at least get started on the notice of intent for Glenwood Road, Lot 6.
Yeah, you need me.
You did, 'cause you were here, that's why I was listening.
Okay.
Good night.
They ignored a lot of comments on it.
Okay.
Put that in the file.
All right. So maybe we'll hold on that for a little bit and see if Mark shows up. So the next one we have is notice of intent for Main Street, both lots 1 and 2. So we'll start with lot 1.
And we have a DEP number, I believe.
Wow.
No. When did they send
I
that?
thought we did. Hold on. I think they got those.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, thanks.
I think we did.
That's
Sounds
a
kind of
no.
fast to me.
That was a thanks
Oh.
from them.
Well,
There he is.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Mia had sent an email requesting more documentation. But I didn't see anything come out except for Glenwood.
I thought we got that.
What we got?
Sorry, I'm a bubble burster.
That seemed awfully fast when we said we already had one. I'm like, really?
They've been coming pretty quick lately.
Yeah,
Maybe not
that
for
was-
Rutland, but
No, that was you.
I'm checking on the portal.
Why do I think I had that? She wanted something else.
Yeah, the only thing I saw was the 2 emails where she was looking for something else, but then I never saw anything come through for the DEP
What was she
number.
looking for?
No Main Street, no numbers.
No
South
number.
Road.
Why is there no number on that one?
Comments, single family house, please revise the plans to show the entire parcel, wetland resource areas and
Yeah, we
watershed
did-
protection act
okay.
areas. The plan submitted is unclear. That's at least the comments I can see online.
I think we sent that to her. That's why I thought we had the number.
No number, I'm sorry.
I don't know why she did that. It's,
I mean, those plants didn't look, they seemed, oh, okay.
everything was actually shown,
Hmm.
but that's all right. All right, well, we continue.
Okay.
I guess. I'll
Um,
follow up on that.
so is there any questions from the commission in the meantime, either on lots 1 or 2?
No.
Is there anyone from the public who has comments on these, Main Street, lots 1 or 2? Okay. So I would look for a motion to continue both hearings until our next scheduled meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Telephone, aye.
Langer, aye. Clock eye.
Gentleman, aye.
Dan's aye. Okay.
What's the date of the next meeting?
September 19th.
That was easy.
No, I'm sorry, September 20th. Sorry.
Right.
We want you
That
to
would've
come,
been early.
we want you to come
Early,
down.
early, not
These
late.
are early.
Yes.
I want you to show up for a select board meeting.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I have that date in my head.
He'd walk in and go, huh?
Thank you.
All right. And then, so we will head back to the NOI for Glenwood Road. I think, Mark, that's you. So Tamika, you said DEP issued a comment letter?
Yes. Yep, and that's in the folder.
Okay. So it looks like. Mark, did you get a chance to look at the comments and maybe start with some of those?
Yeah, I didn't think any necessarily warranted changes to the plan. They were, I think, just all kind of 4-hour notice.
Mhm.
You know, it is within the outstanding resource water, as defined by DCR.
Okay.
Which one is this?
Phobos.
Glenwood.
This is Calerio.
ORW?
What's that?
Did you say outstanding resource waters?
Well, they just noted that, just like the rest of the town, we're within the outstanding resource water, and we have to reference the DCR map. And in
Okay.
this case, we're outside of the DCR jurisdiction. They just wanted to make that known in these comments, I believe.
Yeah, I thought all of that property was outside of it.
Yep. It is.
Okay.
Which, I don't know why they flagged it, maybe for the commission's. I
It
don't
seemed
know.
pretty
Seems
decent.
wrong.
But other than that, I didn't have anything to report back as far as the comments go.
Did you guys go out to see this one again? I
Yeah,
know we've
Peter
been
and
out
I
there.
walked down.
Okay.
There was nothing remarkable. I mean, it was, there was an EPA letter on that complaint, or an inquiry from EPA.
Yep, but Peter already responded and it was found
Yeah,
to be
that we
unfounded.
felt that it was without merit.
Right.
Really? They commented?
Yeah.
I didn't even see it.
Well, no,
Or it didn't
apparently
upload me.
someone had called them with questions, and then EPA got to Peter
Oh, okay.
with a letter, and Peter has already answered the letter. I already saw that, so I'm just making you aware of it.
Yeah, I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners on this, or any special conditions, since we do have a phone number, oh my god, DEP number? Just our,
Do you have a DEP number on that yet?
Yep.
Okay.
yes. And you have a straw bottle, I think, is that what this is here?
Let me take a look.
I'm sorry, it's
Been a while.
crooked.
I believe I have the straw water
Yeah.
on here.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make any questions or comments on this? Yep.
So we are in a butter.
Mm-hmm.
We live at 105. So we have concerns. My husband prepared a lengthy document here because he has quite a few, and unfortunately he cannot be here. I'm sorry.
And can you just state your name for the record?
Joan Cadillac.
Okay, thank you.
So there's a couple things here I just need some clarification on because I'm not sure I'm reading the map correctly.
Mm-hmm.
The pipes from the house, right, come like this and then go here? They don't come across, right?
Right, I think it's shown there, isn't it?
Right, is that what this means?
Yes.
That it comes here and then
Oh,
comes
for the
around?
septic, yeah.
Yeah.
For the
Through
septic?
Through the
Okay.
chair, it goes to the tank.
Okay. 'cause
Yeah.
This symbol right here is the D box.
Well,
That's
That's the septic tank.
That's
This
tank.
is the
That's
septic tank and this is the leach
Yes.
field.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
So we have concerns, of course, because the leach field is just over 100 feet from our well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's in compliance with,
I understand it's
Well,
in compliance, but we still have concerns.
yep.
We also have concerns because I happened to note on the calendar when there was some soil movement in this area. And in May, at the May meeting, when we listened to the recording, he actually said, Mr. Clare said that there was no activity here, and that's not actually correct, because there was some movement before that meeting and then after that meeting in June. Whether it was in the buffer zone or not, I'm not certain, but here's the corner of our property and the mound work is right in here, so that may or may not have been in the buffer zone.
Mark, would
Through
you-
the chair, I can
Would you
respond.
come up and show her the buffer zone on this so she
Yeah.
understands?
Through the chair. So the buffer zone is shown in the dashed line, the 100-foot wetland
So
buffer.
here,
Yep. And back
oh, so
on
it's just in front of the buffer zone.
June 16th, we did do soil testing outside of the buffer.
Okay.
That's
The
your,
soil movement I'm referring to is actually on, let's see, was on the 10th of June.
okay.
So that's, I didn't know.
Yep.
Don't know where the line.
Yeah, I
Goes.
think he may have done some preliminary holes before we actually went out and did the testing.
We are concerned about the runoff from the leach field because we are rather close to the rail trail here.
You're right
This
next
is
to
a
it.
slope in a downward direction towards the trail. And so we are worried that it is so close to the waterway and there is some sort of, the map seems to show some sort of aqueduct that runs here that's related to Wachusett. And maybe the map is wrong, I don't know. We looked at a number of different maps.
If it's the aqueduct, it's 500 feet underground.
It is there.
It's the aqueduct, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It is
500. That's
there,
500 feet
It's under
underground.
the rail bed, yep.
Yeah.
So we're concerned. I mean, I can tell you that
That's-
there are times when water from our well is stinky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's coming from the groundwater, right? So something's going on there. He's gone into a whole bunch of information related to how septics should be in fields, and he's worried about the work. We also have quite a bit of wildlife back here. I mean, we are close to the rail trail, and we see a lot of different animals all the time, and some of them we looked up do appear to be on the Endangered Species Act or who are considered threatened. And my understanding is that you all are the local authority to help uphold the Massachusetts laws as well as the state and federal regulations related to things like the Clean Water Act, the water restrictions and rules related to the state, and then anything related to the animals. So the wetlands.
Only if it's within our wetland jurisdiction and it's mapped priority or estimated habitat for endangered species, which I do not believe this property is.
No, there's nothing.
So we wouldn't have jurisdiction over
You wouldn't have
specific
jurisdiction over
wildlife.
that. Okay.
But in response to that, this area is already pretty disturbed. So the use in changing it to a single-family house might actually reduce a lot of the impacts to wildlife in the area, if that makes sense.
So versus doing nothing, versus not developing it.
Versus some of the also historic use of the property, whether it's machinery, just constant in and outs. This will be, probably 2, maybe 3 cars, congregated in an area that, now that we have a permit, they really can't encroach further than their limit of work, which is where that erosion control line is for the future. So we've kind of put
Which is here.
Yep.
Yeah, through the chair, Melissa, if I can speak to
Yep.
that. This is very low dense development being proposed. It's one house on over 5 acres of land.
Because most of the
And we
acreage
are-
is wetland.
And we are,
Right, is it not
if you let me
mostly
finish,
wetlands?
if you let me finish, this is a very low density proposed development.
Right,
We would like to keep the houses as spaced as far as possible. On this particular instance, we have competing interests where we have wetlands to the rear of the lot. So we're actually forced to push the development a little bit towards the front of the lot, which we'd rather not do, but because of the competing interests, this is the only thing that actually complies. It does fully comply with Title V for the septic system. And again, it's low-density development what the town wants to see, and that it's a single-family house on over 5 acres of land. I don't think the no development alternative is even in the cards at this point. I think if this wasn't the development, it would just be some other, maybe more densely proposed development.
so what about the state of the driveway? Doesn't this driveway become a shared driveway for not only this 5 acres and whatever else is behind?
No, not at this time. This is gonna be a single-family house served by a driveway. That driveway is only gonna serve that single-family house. And this is what they call an estate lot. So this lot can no longer be further subdivided. It's forever locked in as a single house lot on 5 acres of land.
Do you have an additional question?
I'm just very disappointed in the findings. So I don't think that, I think that sometimes just because we can build doesn't mean we should build.
And I would agree.
So,
We can only look at what's in front of us. So when someone submits an application, we have to verify if it meets the standards of the Wetlands Protection Act. Case in point. So we cannot bring into, well, it would be better suited, as non-developed, unless it had a perennial stream, and then we have something what we call riverfront, and that is considered a resource area. And if it was riverfront, then we can start thinking of alternatives, and one of those alternatives is sometimes a no-build, and if that's practical for the use of the land or not. But in this circumstance, they submitted a notice of intent, and we can only review the proposal as it stands, regardless of our personal feelings, if it complies with the state regulations. And unfortunately, I understand your concerns for habitat. I don't believe it's mapped and marked confirmed within the natural heritage's priority or estimated endangered species. They have taken into consideration impacts of wetland resource areas. They are further than our 20-foot no touch policy.
Even though they're going to be building within the buffer zone.
They are probably the furthest outside of the buffer zone than we've seen in a while, to be honest. A lot of them are going right up to that 20 foot, and as long as they meet the regulations and try to protect the interests of the Wetlands Protection Act as much as possible, then single family homes, do have some exemptions, so they're not always held to stricter standards like if it was a full subdivision. But single family homes as it stands, groundwater and septic is under Board of Health. So we as a Conservation Commission are just looking at the work as it is proposed, when it's being constructed, and after it's constructed, will it impact wetland resource areas? So those are mostly in this circumstance kind of to the rear. The aquifer is technically groundwater, and that's not something that we as a commission discuss, but it's something in that area that we've looked at very largely in the recent past, so it's something that we are very familiar in just in terms of building and flooding of that area of the rail trail too. So, kind of taking into this property into consideration and also other underlying issues, it is something that we do consider. But for this, we just have to look at the scope of work and does it comply, which I think we've seen so far that it does. So, most likely get an order of conditions. I can't speak for the rest of my commissioners, but that's kind of how we function. It's ironically a very narrow scope that the commission sometimes has, especially with individual single-family homes just being permitted singly, like this can be. Do you have any other questions?
Well, I think some other work related to dirt and soil movement has occurred because we're, sort of at the bottom of the hill, and I can tell you, and I know water flow changes, and just because, as you've described to me before, water does not necessarily mean wetlands, but the front of our property has quite a bit of moisture on it, and that has changed in the 2 years we've been here, and I think it's because work has been done above that's probably at the top of some of these wetlands, and I don't know if it's to divert things, to get things over a little bit so that they have space that's a little drier. I mean, this is a drought year.
Yep. No,
and you've explained to me that wetlands can move.
Yep. And we've looked at this property, I think, at least within the last 3, maybe 4 years. When complaints have come in or abutting neighbors have complained about water in their property, we have looked and assessed this larger property prior to this application to determine, if there was something that was going on that was affecting properties. And there was nothing that we found that they had done in non-compliance. All the buildings were done with applicable permits, and nothing that we could see that wetlands were altered that would have caused a bigger effect or flooding on additional homes.
So when wetland species pop up in an area where you haven't seen them before, what does that mean?
It doesn't automatically mean there is a wetland there. Typically, especially seasonal changes, like you said, this year is a drought. And we've had some drought in the past, but groundwater can also fluctuate. So even if an area is wet for a year or two, wetland species can pop up, but it does not mean that it's a dominance of wetland species within the plot. Okay. Therefore, probably isn't a wetland area. It might be seasonally flooded. Wetland species can still come up even in dry soils too.
Okay.
It's a 50-50 split between wetlands and uplands plants. So you would need to have 50% of the plants there be wetlands plants
Or
to even consider it.
So
As what?
the description that was submitted with the report showed a whole bunch of wetland species that are in the wetland
Mhm.
section of the property.
Yeah, so they, we call those data sheets, so,
Yeah, the
you know,
delineation.
they pick them up throughout to determine, you know, as they're going a line, ooh, is this section wet or is this upland? So they take certain plots, you know, on both sides of the proposed line to ensure that their line is as accurate as possible.
If memory serves me correct, we did an NOI on your property.
I don't know, that was before us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one was, there was no question that there were no wetlands or,
Yeah, the whole hill.
in fact, I believe I remember the conversation I had with you, Mark, as to why you were even filing an NOI for that,
Right.
for that lot, because the lot was so clean.
Yeah, we actually filed because there were downstream wetlands and it is a very wet hill with high groundwater.
Yes.
Yeah.
We filed to ensure that we were covered, that we were not constructing in or near wetlands.
Yeah.
The septic
So we had,
systems.
you know, as far as the wetlands lines, we have a history going back to when your house was first built, when Mark approached us and we did the site walks and everything out there. So we have enough of a history as to know if there were any major changes or any changes. And there really hasn't been any changes over there, whether it's drought. In fact, that year that your house was built was a pretty wet year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was no real movement of the lines. And still, it exhibits the same today as it did back then.
And that's why the septics are elevated. It is an area of high groundwater.
Mhm.
It's a drumlin in glacier, in geological terms.
Is there any other questions?
I have a question here.
Yep.
103, Kepler Ketobi. So, since the house, I mean, there's no way we can prevent, or this house is going to be built. Do we have any? Do you have any guidelines that once the construction is complete, we don't start seeing water streaming down our property? Because we've done a lot to our properties.
Mhm.
103, we've invested a lot on our backyard. And from what we understand, there were wetlands there before. There is a lot of water there.
Mhm.
So once, I believe you're,
Yeah, so I can speak to that. I
Sure.
don't want to interrupt you, but
yeah?
so this house, if you look at it the way it's proposed, it's actually down gradient of your house.
Okay.
So any impact we have, you wouldn't see any downstream impacts from this
Okay.
construction because all the construction here is actually below gradient from your home.
Okay.
So are you building the house or are you selling the lot with the septic plan?
I am here to do the engineering and obtain the permits, and that's where my role ends.
Okay.
Do you have two more?
So can the builder be held accountable if we start seeing things moving around there? Because I mean,
So with a notice of intent, the permit from us is called an order of conditions,
Okay.
and that gets recorded at the Worcester Registry of Deeds against their address. And essentially, they have an open permit with us. So the work that they do needs to be in compliance with this or a subsequent approved plan if this ends up not being the final one. Any changes that they make do have to be reviewed and approved by the commission. And once they are completed, the site needs to be stable, which means usually 80-85% grass growth. And then they can request a certificate of compliance from the commission. And that means that they will have an as-built plan showing the existing conditions after construction. So any grades, where the septic is, driveways, etc. And then the commission will go out and also do a site visit. And and at any time, if you do see issues, you're happy to reach out to Tamika, who is our admin, through email. Her email is listed on our Concom page on the town's website. But when we do our final site visit to determine compliance, that's essentially what we're looking for. So making sure that there's no rills in any slopes to make sure that water is not eroding the slope, and essentially things like that the construction has been completed and it isn't going anywhere, essentially. So there is kind of a follow-up process that the site work at least, will need to remain compliant from the commission. The building commissioner usually just focuses on the building itself, but we also focus on the land.
Okay, but I believe you guys understand why we are concerned.
Nope, understood. Yep. So that's why, if you ever have a concern, reach out to Tamika and she sends it to the commission. And usually one of us makes it out within 24 hours. So, we all live in town as well. We're all volunteers. So, we get there as soon as we can, but we do, and we talk about it at the next meetings. So please feel free if you ever have a, question or concern to please let us know.
If you have any problems at all or any issues during the construction, feel free to call the office, and Tamika will get that out to all of us immediately. And I'm sure one or two, usually Scott and I or Peter and I will go right out and take a look.
Okay.
So if there's any issues in that. And if it's any comfort to you, I had history with this particular engineer. He's
No, not really, no, I don't think it's him, it's just, I mean,
I get it.
No,
It's your house.
no, nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
Our history with this engineer
okay,
is he tends to be very conservative and very safe when he does his drawings, and
Okay.
he tends to overdo it sometimes,
okay.
because I've asked him, why are you doing it that way? And he
Mhm.
says, just to be sure. And we like doing business with people like that, because those are the ones you don't have the trouble with. We've got a few that we don't feel that way about, but this one does all right. So just to let you know, and it's not a bias that we have towards him or anything, but it's,
Thank you.
our history with him has been very
You
good.
might even be a B+ mark.
We try. And we try to have a nice looking end product development too. In this case, it is close to the lot line only because of those resource areas. If it wasn't for the wetlands, the house might have been further back.
And what if the wetlands move?
Those are pretty well established. I don't see those moving. And by that time, the house will be built, so I don't think we're moving the house.
No, they'll just have water in the basement.
You have water in the basement?
We do not,
No.
but that's what will probably happen.
No, none of those houses have water in the basement.
No.
They all have perimeter drains.
Right,
Even if you look at this house here, that's actually a garage under.
right.
It all drains, there's a footing drain all around your house, and that actually flows to daylight. So if you ever have basement issues, it's because that drain is clogged or not
Right.
maintained.
Right. Is there any more questions on this application in front of us? Anything else? No? Okay. Any other questions from commissioners? No? I look for a motion to close the hearing first.
So moved. I'll second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Delacroix, aye.
Langer and I.
Chancelucci, aye.
Danza, aye. I don't think we discussed any special conditions. The wattle is good on the slope.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark, we're being a little bit fiercer with our pre-construction conditions.
Yep.
So make sure you look through those, get your sign up, send Tamika your book and page, contractor affidavit. Call us for erosion control inspection.
I got a
Okay.
Pass that
checklist
along.
I did up, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get that too.
Mark, you can also use wood chips now, again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
Wood chips and silt fence is perfect.
I was gonna say, are you using those in combination with silt fence or just on
Yeah.
their own?
Yeah.
Or both?
Both is better,
Okay.
but we're starting to do it because nobody's using them anymore, and it's one of those that actually work better.
Yeah, I
I
think it
think
would great.
85.
Yeah.
How much?
So just so you know, it's a
50.
bonus.
50.
Yeah, especially with a silt fence behind it.
Right.
The wood chips are cheap,
Yeah, you can't-
Well, they work better.
but they're
Alright.
cheap.
Right.
Motion to approve the order of conditions for this Glenwood Road lot.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor by roll call?
Delacroix, aye.
Langer and I.
Chancelucci, aye.
Danza, aye. And if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. Tamika is a great resource, and if she doesn't know the answer, she knows where to find us, okay? And thank you for coming. You're welcome to
Thank you.
stay, by the way. They're very exciting.
I'm off the harvest thing for 7.
Thanks, Mark.
See ya, thank you.
All right. How you doing, Bree?
Good.
Did everyone meet brief in the last meeting? This is our grad student.
Couple meetings ago.
Couple meetings. We were gonna do site visits yesterday, but I bailed because it was raining and I didn't want to do 2 days in the rain.
Can't blame you.
So we're getting back on track just before we get into the old business of her looking at the applications and kind of writing up some brief comments for us to look over as we were hoping to do. So we're going to start consistently sending her the applications, and if she can join us on site visits, she will. Otherwise, we've been trying to tag team during the work when I can get home a little bit earlier. So I think it's going well.
Are you available for any site walks? Would you be coming out to actually see
I think
what's
it
going
depends
on?
on when you guys are going, because I go to school in Amherst and I have to commute. So like Mondays, Fridays, well Mondays I'm there all day, but Thursday and Friday are kind of a little bit more flexible. Friday in the afternoon, and the weekends are more flexible too. So if I plan ahead, I can probably do it. So like the 17th, I should be able to do that.
Awesome.
Yep.
And that's the only application we've had so far for the next meeting?
We have the new RDA for
Rich.
Zonderlee,
Yeah,
but
that's it.
that was it.
Okay.
And she did an awesome write-up for this meeting too. I put it on the
Yes.
drive.
Yeah, if you guys get a
Read it.
chance, that's popped on the drive and that was great. So hopefully as we get to do some more actual site visits, they'll lessen our load a little. Although it's always fun to go out. Not today though.
No.
Today was not fun. It was not fun. All right, let's see, back to the agenda. Old and new business, discussion of erosion control standards.
Peter asked me to put this on the agenda.
It was nice seeing you all, and let me
Thanks.
know if there's anything on the write-ups that you want me to include specific, or look for specific.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Have a good night.
Bye. See you tonight.
Because this was his wood chip slash.
I think it had more so to do with, and I don't know if he can hear us and can come out, but
Of course he
there
can hear us.
was.
He's always
He can always
Yeah.
hear us.
It's creepy Peter.
There was a lot that he went to view the erosion control barriers, and they were not built to the plan.
Oh,
Okay.
So
okay,
they
yeah.
still
So that's what he
work,
was just
but
talking
they were
about.
built to the
Oh,
plan.
okay.
This is over on Finn Park where they're taking down into the houses.
Yep, yep.
Like he says, you got big roots, you got this, they didn't want to cut them.
Yeah.
So what's, again, what do you do? Because by right, the silt fence isn't dug in, it's
Yeah.
whatever. So it's kind of one of those you look at and go, wattle, chips, the most ground contact you can get.
Mhm.
Again, best practice.
Yeah.
And that but again, he goes and looks at them, it's not right, but what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
There was another one on Welch Ave that he went to look at last weekend, and I guess they curved the silt fence
Mhm.
differently than what they had shown on the plan, and I guess it was still gonna do what it was intended to
Mhm.
do, but it wasn't built to plan.
Okay.
So, how much do we
I
say
see.
to that?
I know at least me, if I'm out in the field looking, things look great on paper, but in 3D they don't work, especially with tree roots. So I think as long as it's not expanding a limit of work, and they have expelled the best practices, then
If it's going to do what its
if
intent
it's
is.
gonna do, yeah,
Right.
as long as it's not changing, something on a steep slope from a silt fence to a tiny straw wattle or something, then
Right.
that's fine.
Right.
Sometimes adjustments are needed. That's
Adjustments
just how
are
construction is.
truly needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as it's still going to protect the resource area.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
All right. I could probably write up like not like a policy, but like a statement that we can go by for us.
But
saying,
if we're going to inspect them anyways, because we always get told, so it's one of those, if there's a question on it, like that one, if there was
Yeah.
a question on it, Peter can take pictures and send them and go, what do we,
what do we do? Yeah.
I mean, not to, whatever, what do we suggest or what do you think?
Yeah.
Because just tell them, yeah, we see it, but we don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, That's part of
Yeah.
the reason for the inspection.
Right.
So again, I don't know if you have to write something, because we're doing an inspection anyways.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the inspections.
Okay. I think as long as we agree that, paper and real life does not
I think as a,
always.
Yeah, best practice is always the best.
that's kind of a blanket statement. If
Yeah.
they're moving, if the silt fence should change location at all, as long as it's moving away from the wetland.
Right.
But the problem,
Then-
but your problem with that is if you have this,
And you
and
have
all of a
one
sudden they do
tree.
this,
Yeah.
and you're going, well, we don't want you to disturb this. This wasn't part of what you're supposed to. That you don't want to take advantage of it because we couldn't because of roots.
Right.
So that's why it's a best.
Yeah.
That's what because again, not that whatever, but very
There's always
easy.
that one friggin' tree or piece of rock.
Right, right. When you get it and you look at it like this and go,
That stake's
"Whoa,
not
wait a
going in the
second,
ground.
it's yeah, or you go like this and go, it's way over there. Why are we doing
Yeah.
over there?
Or you realize it's all ledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
No stake going in.
No.
Okay.
No. So again, I really don't know if this a statement has
No.
to be.
I don't think so.
But again, that's just like we had said the last time. That's why I really got to you got to enforce it. At least if we don't show up, it's on
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
You-
Exactly.
I mean, and especially for some of these, like that Finn Park, right, same thing. He looked at it. Yeah, it's slope. You really got to look at those.
Yeah.
And it's not like a development that everything's toe or slope. So okay, there's your.
Right.
There's really no toe over there. That's the whole slope.
Ain't no toe. That's
You
a
don't
step.
want you really don't want to stop at the edge.
It's called a plateau.
Right.
All right. Okay.
But I think two parts of that, the bonus now that we're going to allow doing wood chips again is, on anything, especially slope-wise, or even ledge. If you can get beyond it
Yeah.
with it, it catches.
Right.
Catches a lot better than, doesn't even wash. I mean, you don't need the stuff. So I think that's a bonus to doing it.
Yeah. All right. Well.
And put a pin in that one.
All right. Next discussion is future electronic storage. I think he was gonna look at what he wanted to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think you did a pretty good job talking with oh my God, what's his name? Brian?
Mike
Mike.
Moriarty. So at the last meeting, Peter had asked how much storage there is, and Mike did not know the exact number, but he said he has an insane amount of files on his, and he said it would the amount would far exceed what Concom would need to use. So it shouldn't be a concern
All right.
as far as that goes.
I'm pretty confident moving forward with SharePoint, OneDrive,
Yeah.
combination of both. I think
I'll start with everything that I have electronic. I think tackling and scanning all the paper stuff is going to be
yeah.
a very long-term project, but for everything that I have, I can start doing that, and then you and I are working together on
Yeah.
how to, file it and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, because you've already done a great deal of work on figuring that out too.
That works.
The paper stuff's going to be great for your retirement job and you volunteer for the town to make it.
Yeah. It'll still be there when you retire.
Will be.
I think
It'll,
if she takes
we
that
can
as a
do it
retirement
together
job,
when
I
we
think none of
retire.
us are gonna be worried about it.
So,
We'll have a great retirement. All
or
right.
I mean, get a big pile of
Yeah.
papers because I couldn't get out.
That happened to me once. I was in the basement and all of the town clerk bifold signs fell on me. And it was during COVID when there was no one else in the building. So I'm like, I'm gonna die here. Couldn't get up.
So what'd you end up doing?
I laid there for a couple
Well,
seconds and then tried to push
we're-
my way out.
We're in Rutland. Lassie came and saved her.
It was in Southborough, thank you very much.
Well,
Ain't no lasses in Southborough.
Johnny fell down a well again. Damn kid.
Well, I thought you were gonna say you put your magic bracelet on and just,
Yep, away I went. They all restacked and I was fine. No worries. Okay. All right, so I think we're pretty set on that then. You'll get started, and if you need anything, you know where to find us.
Yes. And then the only other thing was just that email that we received this afternoon. I didn't know if we want to take a quick
Yeah.
look. A resident emailed with concerns about a neighbor down on River Road. And he gave some specifics in the email. I sent it to Melissa, and I didn't know if maybe you guys
Yes.
wanted to check it out or have me send a letter.
So at 33 River Road, which sounds like we've been there before in my head. Does it sound familiar to anyone else? I even
What's
looked
the
it
name?
up.
What's the name?
is that the one with
Michael
the shared
Poole?
driveway?
No.
No.
I even looked it up on my Google Maps, and it was like, you visited here 2 years ago. Okay, I'm not totally crazy. I mean, I still could, right?
We have been down there on quite a few things.
Yeah.
mean,
Not necessarily.
Oh, yeah, what's the complaint? What's the
33.
complaint?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Maybe that'll help.
Maybe. You know what? It probably won't because I don't think it's related, but the address is stuck in my head. So Michael Hull at 33 River Road has done excavation work on his property, changing multiple grades and diverting runoff from the wetlands on his property. He has not installed a silt fence or any hay bales, allowing erosion and runoff. He has paved his driveway and changed the grade and pitch of his driveway, forcing runoff into the street and away from the wetlands, and regularly disposes of yard waste into the wetlands. And he did attach a photo and a video of the homeowner leaf blowing.
Leaf blowing?
I think leaves
Probably
into wetland, yeah.
33 River Road.
I think I looked quickly.
Hmm.
Do you
I
guys
don't
not
recall
know?
that one.
Yeah.
I don't recall this
Anything
one
good?
either.
So there's wetlands on the couple
Yeah.
properties over. There looks to be
Oh,
potentially a stream. Could be intermittent,
Alongside the driveway?
going through 33 River Road.
Oh, okay.
Is this near where there was that the camper, the trailer with the fuel
Where the-
oil spill?
Where the oil spill.
Oh,
and then we
maybe
had the
that's
bridge
why
out
I'm
there,
thinking
too.
River Road.
Yeah, or there's a gentleman down there that's going to be redoing the covered bridge
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah,
well. I don't know if it's near him too.
maybe that's why I'm thinking River. All right. So this is 33. And hold on, let me highlight. This is oh my god. There's too many. All right. So this is 33.
This one.
Yep. So it
Okay.
shows this. And then
All right, where's his driveway?
right here,
Yeah, houses in the back.
house is back here.
Yep.
So assumingly he was blowing leaves right here.
Is that it, or is this the other, or is it the other one? The one that
No,
you were
this is
showing was.
this is 33 River Road.
Right, but the last map showing that.
I know it just doesn't come up on the
yeah,
aerial.
Yeah.
It's up here.
Yep.
The driveway's right here.
Mm.
So I don't know how much diversion he did.
Streams. I can't get it to come
But
up.
it's not
with
showing
the
wetlands anywhere else.
No.
So how's he blowing leaves into a wetlands?
Well, if that's a
That's a stream.
if that's a
Could be an
stream.
intermittent stream. I don't think it's perennial. It's
No,
not
it's
on the
not
USGS
coming
map.
up. Yeah.
Leads into a stream, really.
And I can't even really see it.
Does a bear poop in the woods? I mean,
I think so.
I can't even really see where it would go across the street.
Yeah, there might be
yeah.
maybe a culvert.
Yeah, like there might. I would assume they're trying to connect this area up here
Yeah.
too.
Well, so if you turn on, in the little search
Uh huh.
thing, if you just type in under wetlands, if you turn on the linear resources, scroll down just a little bit in that search, linear features.
There we go.
There we go. Now it shows it a little bit clearer.
What's that?
So it's some sort of hydrologic connection. Probably just an intermittent stream would be my guess.
At the most. Yeah.
At the most, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It might
That's a better
cross there. Because it looks like that's kind of wet. Tried to look on Street View earlier, and there really wasn't anything to look at.
Hmm.
All right. So send our standard letter asking them to come to the next meeting.
Sure.
Yeah,
In the
sounds like-
meantime, maybe just individually take a drive by, see what we can see from the roadway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the last discussion with the wetlands bylaw and regulations.
Yeah, right.
I think Peter, Tamika, the last document we were working on, I think you said was still on the Google Drive, right?
Everything should be on the Google
Okay.
Drive in its own folder.
So maybe between now and the next meeting, I think it would be extremely helpful if we kind of refamiliarized ourselves. Were we even talking with bylaws since you've been on? Really?
Not new.
Yeah, but like
I've
the most
harassed
recent
you.
one.
I've harassed you for over a year.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay.
Hey, you voted for me back on.
Did I?
Yes.
I regret it. I so regret it. Should have abstained.
You could say nay.
I could have.
She didn't
Next
know me
time
then.
I
She didn't know me
will.
then.
Yeah, well, next
Gotta
time
be
I will.
offended.
Next time I know better. I thought, I was young and naive a year ago, I guess. So head in the Google Drive, look in the Wetlands Bylaw and Regs folder. I think we were working off like a list of just common additions that I put together from other bylaws. So take a look there if there's anything that stands out to you that you think is important or definitely don't want in there, or if you have questions of what it means. And then maybe we can get some rock and roll in on a bylaw.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else that anyone would like to bring up? I'm going to take that as a no.
Motion to adjourn.
No.
Second.
Wait, what happens if he actually says no, though? All those in favor by roll call?
I have no power. I'm just a poor
Doubtful aye.
Langer and I.
You already voted.
Here's a gentle GI.
Dan's a aye. All right, we are adjourned at 6:50.